I'm here at Rate One Aviation in Gloucester with Jim Thorpe, who's the founder of Rate One Aviation, an organisation that trains private pilots specifically for the instrument rating. Why shouldn't I go to America and do an instrument rating course there, because it'd be much quicker and cheaper?
Possibly, but it's not really true in that you, I think, legally eventually will have to have an EASA IR. You can convert, but that requires 50 hours after you've gained your 50 hours PIC under IFR, after you've gained your American IR. The EASA IR and the American IR are now much more comparable cost-wise and effort-wise. I would say there's no point in going to America unless for personal reasons you need or want to spend time in America.
So I understand there is a legal requirement at the moment for all European instrument-rated pilots to have EASA licenses, including those flying today under FAA licenses. What's the status of that, and how hard is it to make the transition?
Well, it's a very good question. It's fairly chaotic at the moment. There's been, I think, now 3 deferrals of that requirement because it hasn't, the conversion process, or a potentially easier conversion process, hasn't passed into European law. It remains to be seen whether in this coming April, that's April 2017, there's a further deferment.
And what's involved?
Under the present system, which was included in the terms of the competence-based IR, it's training as required and to take the initial EASA skill test. They have to have done 50 hours PIC since gaining their American IR to take advantage of this process. The reality is, and I should say there's no prejudice here, I happen to be dual qualified, anybody coming from the American system in order to pass in the EASA system will require significant training, and it's very rare for any candidate to be able to achieve this in under 10 hours.
But there's no theory written exam to undertake. It's purely the requirement is purely a proficiency check.
As part of the skill test, the flight test, the examiner may ask questions to establish that the candidate has an understanding of European airspace and regulations. This was written into the rules in the expectation that somebody would come having done all their flying in America and would understand nothing about the European situation. The reality is that the great majority of people have done most of their flying with an FAA qualification within Europe, so really are pretty familiar with the European system, and in practice this oral element has not been a real issue. Nobody's trying to catch people out with very obscure questions. It's common sense stuff about how you would get weather information, general regulations that any competent instrument pilot would know the answer to.